Representative Carver, please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Representative Exum and I are honored, along with the other state legislators from El Paso County, to have a tribute to Fannie Mae Duncan, an icon, a inspirational figure, a brave and courageous woman who had a huge effect on the history in Colorado Springs and the state of Colorado. And with that, I don't know if my co-sponsor wants to say a few remarks before we read the tribute.
I'll just say a few more remarks after the tribute. Thank you.
Madam Speaker, if we could have the tribute read, please.
The House of Representatives convened in the 72nd General Assembly hereby extends sincere commendations to Fannie Mae Duncan. Fannie Mae Duncan, 1918 to 2005, was a philanthropist, a community activist, and entrepreneur who helped integrate Colorado Springs peacefully through her visionary approach to business. Her greatest success was establishing the Cotton Club, a downtown nightclub, as a destination for African Americans to enjoy firsthand the greatest black entertainers of the 1950s and 1960s. The Cotton Club evolved into a symbol of hope. At a time when most businesses were segregated, Fannie Mae hired waitresses of all ethnicities and received guests of all races. She eventually earned widespread support for her philosophy of inclusion from unlikely sources, including the local police chief. A sign in the club's window summed up Duncan's policy: everybody welcome. In recognition of her many accomplishments, she was inducted into the Colorado Springs High School Hall of Fame, received the Pikes Peak Community Blues Lifetime Achievement Award and the Black Womanhood Award, and was inducted into the Colorado Women's Hall of Fame. On October 26th of 2019, she will be honored with the placement of a life-size bronze statue in front of the Pikes Peak Center for the Performing Arts in Colorado Springs. The Colorado House of Representatives is proud and honored to recognize the life and work of Fannie Mae Duncan. On request of Representatives Terry Carver, Tony Exum, Lois Landgraf, Mark Snyder, Shane Sandridge, Larry Liston, Dave Williams, and Tim Geithner, given this 15th day of April 2019, State Capitol in Denver.
Representative Carver.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And if we can now start the PowerPoint, where we will give you some of the history of Fannie Mae Duncan, her life, and her accomplishments. Fannie Mae Bragg was born in Luther, Oklahoma on July 5th, 1918. She was the granddaughter of Alabama slaves and the daughter of successful tenant farmers, Herbert and Mattie Brinson Bragg. When she was only 8, Fannie Mae lost her father due to inadequate medical care following an automobile accident. The family's situation became desperate. Frances, the oldest child, moved to Manitou Springs, and for a 2-year period sent home all the money that she earned as a maid. By 1933, the Bragg family was able to escape the Dust Bowl of Oklahoma and settle in Colorado Springs.
Representative Exum.
The older children had to drop out of school to take jobs and earn money to support the family. But Fannie Mae and her younger siblings were able to continue their education. For the first time, Fannie Mae attended the integrated school. Though she worked as a waitress and a maid after school, Fannie Mae excelled in her studies. By 1938, she was the first in her family to graduate from high school. Without funds to attend college, she married and became Mrs. Ed Duncan. She got a job managing a soda fountain at then Camp Carson, and then she and her husband Ed ran the USO Cafe in town. When the building across the street came up for sale, the couple bought it with money they had saved along with a loan.
Representative Landgraf.
Thank you. Fannie Mae and Ed opened a popular cafe and bar in the building, but soon Fannie Mae started developing the large upstairs room into a nightclub called the Cotton Club. When the local dime store was renovated, she bought the white marble counter and white leather stools where African Americans were once refused seating. And she welcomed everybody. Even though the schools were integrated, city facilities were not. So Fannie Mae's Cotton Club was the only place in town where people could see great talents like Louis Armstrong, B.B. King, and Duke Ellington.
Representative Snyder.
Local businessmen complained to the police chief that Fannie Mae was letting everyone in the Cotton Club, so Fannie Mae was summoned to the police station. When Chief Bruce confronted Fannie Mae and accused her of mixing colors, she responded that she checked guests for age, but didn't know that she had to check them for color too. By the time Fannie Mae returned to the club, Chief Bruce had changed his mind. Regardless, Fannie Mae put a sign in the window that declared everybody welcome, and the Cotton Club became the first fully integrated business in Colorado Springs.
Representative Sandridge.
Although business was booming, Fannie Mae was concerned about another issue. The local hotels were not accepting her talented musicians as either performers or guests, so they had to drive back to Denver after the end of the late night shows. She solved this problem by purchasing a 42-room mansion tagged for demolition. There, she welcomed her performers to stay in the mansion for a small fee.
Representative Liston.
Thank you. In addition to opening the house to her musicians, Fannie Mae welcomed people of all colors to hold special occasions like fundraisers in her mansions. Celebrities often stayed with her too, such as Louis Armstrong, Nat King Cole, and Flip Wilson. Medgar Evers was a guest in her mansion when he came to speak to the African American cadets at the Air Force Academy. Tragically, he was killed when he returned home to Mississippi.
Representative Williams.
Grief-stricken over Medgar Evers' death, Fannie Mae organized the 400 Club for African Americans. Although the group hosted formal social events, they were dedicated to community service. They held food and clothing drives and became a ready source of aid to those in emergencies, regardless of race. Fannie Mae's husband, Ed, died unexpectedly in 1955. She was only 36 years old, but she continued running her enterprises until 1975, when the city raised the Cotton Club in the name of urban renewal.
Representative Geithner.
In addition to losing the Cotton Club, Fannie Mae had to sell her mansion. Eventually, it became a home for the chronically mental ill. Fannie Mae was the guest of honor at the dedication of the Hart Duncan House in 1955. Fannie Mae died on September 13, 2005, but she has not been forgotten. She'll be honored with a life-size bronze statue that will be placed in front of the Pikes Peak Center on October 26th. Fannie Mae was the catalyst for the peaceful integration of Colorado Springs at her Cotton Club during the volatile civil rights movement. She also was a major conduit in the development of the music industry during her era, and she did it all with 2 words: everybody, welcome.
Representative Carver.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. If we could now play a short video. Members, the Rocky Mountain PBS did a documentary on the life of Fannie Mae Duncan. And this is a short excerpt from that documentary.
The Cotton Club is a legend in Colorado Springs. Everyone has a story associated with the Cotton Club.
Fannie Mae Duncan's life is an amazing journey from the cotton fields of Alabama to the Dust Bowl of Oklahoma to fame and social impact in Colorado Springs. There, she owned and operated a jazz venue called the Cotton Club, where world-class African-American entertainers performed for nearly 30 years. The club's motto, "Everybody Welcome," challenged the era's de facto segregation.
Fannie Mae was the catalyst for the peaceful integration of Colorado Springs during the very volatile civil rights movement. During that time in other cities, there was violence and there was bloodshed and there were flaming Molotov cocktails being thrown in streets. But here in Colorado Springs, Fannie Mae was serving chilled cocktails to people of every ethnicity who would come in because of their mutual love of the arts and sit side by side to enjoy the evening.
And I said, all I'm looking for is people that the age, and I'm not looking for color.
Fannie Mae's alliance with local law enforcement, generosity to her city, and can-do attitude moved mountains.
She was destined. She was destined to be a visionary. She was destined to be an entrepreneur.
She was destined to make history.
This program was made possible by the History.
Representative Carver.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And at this time, we would like to introduce our special guests. And if you would please stand when I call your name. We are honored and thrilled to have so many members of Fannie Mae Duncan's family with us, her descendants. Her niece, Claudine Bragg Brooks. If you would please stand.
And we'll hold any applause till the end.
Cousin James Bragg. Cousin James Earl Bragg. Niece Patricia Stevens. Niece Edith Morgan.
Husband of Edith Morgan, Henry Morgan. Great nephew, Albert Bragg. Great nephew, Damon Morgan. Great great niece, Jala. I probably messed that up. Bragg. And great great nephew, Javon Bragg.
Representative Carver.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We are also honored to have many distinguished guests with us from Colorado Springs. If you would please stand. Kay Esmiel, Chair of the Fannie Mae Duncan Statue Steering Committee. Henry Allen, President, Pikes Peak Southern Christian Leadership Conference. Pastor Jesse Brown, President, NAACP, Colorado Springs, also pastor of the Christ Temple Community Church, and his wife, June Christine Brown. Shirley Martinez, Vice President of the Pikes Peak Diversity Council.
Representative Exum.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This is Katie.
Yeah.
Kate Perdoni, producer of Rocky Mountain PBS, Colorado Springs Experience, Fannie Mae Duncan. Tracy Rivers Wright, actress, portrayed Fannie Mae Duncan in the original 1993 play. Marguerite Rivers, mother of Tracy Rivers Wright, and wardrobe mistress for the original 1993 play.
Rachel Stovall, community leader, Colorado Springs. Liz Jefferson McHern, ELD program coordinator, El Pomar Foundation. Mary McHern, Pastor Kevin T. Daniels Sr., and Teresa Daniels. Members, could you give our guests a warm welcome?